Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
A man who she abandoned for months to the media and now presents her mother, Doria, speaking for the first time, telling outright lies about her ex-husband. I mean, this was a calculated attempt against the families.
I think personally, they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Tom Bowers, it's called Revenge, Meghan, Harry and the war between the Windsors. We can speak to the man himself, the author.
The divorce rumors have been circulating for years. Harry even joked about it at the New York Times Deal Book Summit, saying they've apparently divorced maybe 10 or 12 times, according to the media. But something shifted in 2026, and what's happening now isn't just tabloid speculation anymore. There are patterns emerging that even their supporters struggle to explain. Separate appearances for over 100 days. A PR firm rehired that specializes in one very specific type of crisis. Reports of deeply emotional arguments. And financial realities that make staying together increasingly complicated. The most visible sign is how rarely Harry and Meghan appear together anymore. Since their joint trip to Colombia in August 2024, they've been photographed together only a handful of times. Over 100 days of separate public appearances. Harry attends charity events alone. Meghan walks red carpets solo. They're pursuing what insiders call a twin-track approach. Harry focuses on charitable work and legal battles. Meghan builds her lifestyle brand and business ventures. On the surface, this could be simple division of labor, but the pattern goes deeper. Harry celebrated his 40th birthday with friends, not with Meghan. He's been spending time in the UK for court cases while she remains firmly in California. They're not just working separately, they're living separately for extended periods. And that's not normal for a couple whose entire brand was built on being an unshakable partnership. In January 2026, Meghan made a decision that raised serious eyebrows in Hollywood.
And so he became hypersensitive and blamed the media for the crashes of his relationships, never thinking that they could have something to do with himself. So he's a very complicated, depressed, unintelligent man who is seeking a role and has got really nobody on whom he could rely, which is in the end where Meghan stepped in. I mean, a needy man met a woman who could help him with his needs.
She rehired Sunshine Sachs, the PR firm she'd worked with back in 2016 and then fired years ago. Why does this matter? Because Sunshine Sachs isn't just any public relations company. They have a very specific specialty: high-profile divorces. They handled Katie Holmes' split from Tom Cruise, managing the media narrative when she needed to exit that marriage quickly and quietly. They've represented multiple celebrities, navigating messy separations where image protection was critical. When someone rehires a firm like that, especially after previously cutting ties with them, it sends a message. Meghan didn't need Sunshine Sachs for business launches or charity work. She has other people handling those aspects. This was a deliberate choice to bring in specialists who know how to manage the public perception of a relationship falling apart. The timing is also significant. This happened right as reports started surfacing about arguments between Harry and Meghan over their future, specifically about whether to return to the UK or stay permanently in California. Those arguments have become a major point of tension, according to multiple sources. Harry reportedly wants his children to know their grandfather, King Charles, and to have some connection to their British heritage and the country where their father grew up. Meghan is resistant to returning, and it's not hard to understand why.
Well, Meghan herself.
And Meghan herself.
In the months before she met Harry, was setting up paparazzi pictures in London. She now acts as if the paparazzi are literally the devil incarnate.
She begged the paparazzi to photograph her, and they wouldn't. And when they did, she says, "Oh, I don't want to, I'm hurt." And that ridiculous story about how they first met, the whole thing was a tissue of inaccuracies, to be polite.
Well, because what do you make of that? Because as you know, Harry was always very insistent.
Her experience with the British press and the royal family was brutal. She has no desire to put herself or her children through that again. But this isn't just a disagreement about vacation plans. This is a fundamental clash about where they see their lives going. Harry still has ties to the UK through his legal battles, his charity work, and his family. Meghan has completely rebuilt her identity around being a California-based entrepreneur and lifestyle influencer. These aren't positions that compromise easily. You can't be half in the UK and half in California when you're raising children and building careers. Someone has to give, and neither one appears willing to be the person who backs down. Sources describe these conversations as deeply emotional, suggesting this isn't a calm discussion about logistics. This is a fight about incompatible visions for their future. Here's something most people don't realize. Harry and Meghan reportedly never signed a prenuptial agreement. British royals typically don't. The assumption is that royal marriages are forever, and discussing divorce terms before the wedding would be seen as planning for failure. But that decision has massive implications now if they actually split. California is a community property state. Without a prenup, everything acquired during the marriage gets divided 50-50. The Montecito mansion, the Netflix money that came in, any income from Harry's book, all of it would be considered shared assets. Custody of the children would be determined by California family courts, and those courts typically favor keeping children in their established home environment with the parent who's been the primary caregiver. Reports suggest Meghan has been the one primarily managing day-to-day parenting, while Harry travels for court cases and other obligations. If that can be demonstrated in court, it gives her a significant advantage in custody negotiations. Harry could potentially face a situation where he's separated from his children, loses half the assets they built together, and has limited control over how their shared brand gets used going forward. None of this requires a secret prenup clause. This is just how California law works when a marriage ends without prior agreements in place. The financial pressure makes everything more complicated. When they left the royal family, big deals were lined up. Netflix potentially worth up to $100 million, Spotify for a significant sum. Harry's memoir became a bestseller. But those income streams have largely dried up. Spotify canceled their podcast. Netflix significantly reduced their contract after projects failed. With Love, Meghan got canceled after one season. American Riviera Orchard has struggled. Reports suggest they're carrying significant debt, with estimates around $38 million between mortgage, security costs, and business investments that haven't paid off. When money gets tight, every disagreement becomes more intense, and their value as a couple is tied to being Harry and Meghan together. Separated, what is each worth individually? Harry without Meghan is a prince with no royal duties and no new stories. Meghan without Harry is an actress who loses the royal connection that made her globally famous. Financially, they might be worth more together than apart. The signs everyone's watching keep adding up. Meghan hired WME, one of Hollywood's top talent agencies, to represent her individually. Harry has his own team handling charity work and legal matters. They're not operating as a unit anymore. They're building separate professional identities. The lack of public support has become noticeable. When Meghan launched American Riviera Orchard, Harry wasn't featured in the rollout. When Harry had major court victories or setbacks, Meghan's response was minimal. Couples in strong relationships amplify each other's successes. That mutual promotion has disappeared. The body language when they do appear together has been analyzed extensively, and even supporters acknowledge something looks off. Harry addressed the divorce rumors directly at that December 2024 summit, trying to laugh them off. But the laughter felt defensive, like someone who knows the speculation has basis in reality, even if the specific tabloid stories are exaggerated. Since that denial, the separate appearances have only increased. The signs of professional and personal distance have only become more obvious, and the rumors have only gotten louder. Whether this is a strategic professional separation that lets them pursue different goals while staying married, or whether it's the slow public unraveling of a relationship that privately ended a while ago, only time will tell. But one thing is certain: the divorce speculation in 2026 isn't just tabloid noise anymore. There's too much evidence, Too many patterns, too many decisions that only make sense if you're preparing for separate futures. And if a split does happen, it won't be quiet. It will be one of the most analyzed, most publicized, most financially and emotionally complicated celebrity divorces in recent history. The foundation is already cracking. The question isn't if people will keep speculating. The question is whether the speculation will turn out to be right.